Hi, everybody, and welcome here. It's Carol from Crinkled Path Journals, and I'd love for you to join me for another episode in my Memory Keeping with Me 1980s Junk Journal. Most of the memories in this book are from the early 80s. I thought today I would go over some of my chores and jobs in the early 80s, and this was junior high age for me. And I pulled a few pictures because I want to get them on the page. And I realized I want a file folder for this, so hold on just a sec. So I'm going to put this on here first before I cut it out. So, chores and jobs. I had to help around the house, of course, and the weekend mornings were never time to sleep in because we were either going to church or it was house cleaning day. And so all my friends who got to sleep in as teenagers, I was very jealous of you. But my main chore was I was a latchkey kid and I came home before my mom and dad, and I had to prep whatever dinner was in the fridge to get started. And I eventually learned to make some of my own recipes and kind of get to pick what we were making, but it started out with my mom just leaving the recipe and having the ingredients in the fridge. I think I told the story already in one of my earlier episodes, but one time she left a whole fish in the fridge and was, "Can you bake this?" I mean, I still had the head and the tail, and yeah, no, that didn't happen. I managed to slide it off of the little styrofoam plate that it was on onto a cookie sheet and set it in the oven. And then I was afraid to start it because I was pretty sure I wasn't supposed to be cooking it with the head and the tail on. I brought this picture and I'm going to fussy cut it because one of the things I would do when I got home is usually I would make a little snack and then I would start prepping dinner. And so I was all alone. So I would pretend to be on a cooking channel, and it was practice for getting to be a YouTuber someday, I guess. So I'm going to cut this one out too. This picture reminded me of maybe not what I look like, but the picture in my mind of what I was doing. And there weren't a lot of cooking shows back then. I remember watching black and white reruns of Julia Child. It was something that sparked my interest, at least. And for the most part, I liked the cooking, and so it was an okay job. Now, my sister was 10 years older. And you've all probably said this to a much older sibling. "You're not the boss of me." But she was kind of the boss of me because she took care of me a lot when I was younger. One of the jobs she gave me when I was pretty young, probably 10, 11, so 79, 80, was to iron creases down the front of her jeans. And so I have Mrs. Partridge here with the iron. This is Shirley Jones. And I'm going to use her as a pocket to put some other things in. But I did a lot of ironing of my sister's jeans, and she paid me $0.25, I think, a piece to iron them. And she had a lot of jeans, so it was a lucrative little business I had going. So I learned to iron at an early age. I don't remember ever having any major accidents or burning anything, including myself. And then the other thing that I did for her late 80s was I babysat and cleaned her house, but that wasn't an early 80s memory. And the other job I had in the early 80s was in the summer. I worked for two cousins who owned a consignment shop. And I did this the summer between 7th and 8th grade, and the summer after 8th grade, and the summer after freshman year. And basically I worked for merchandise and a daily lunch when I was working with them. They would give me money to go down to a little sandwich shop, get a sandwich. But if you wonder why I like junk so much, I cut out this picture because this picture reminded me of the things that we sold in the store. Knickknacks and pictures and antique clocks and all kinds of ceramic things. And I learned so much working at that consignment shop. My three cousins, it was my two cousins, and one of them was married, and her husband owned the shop, and he had been a jeweler, but all three of them had muscular dystrophy, and they were all three in motorized wheelchairs. And so to have a tall, able-bodied young lady to help in the store was a huge benefit to them. Of course, they had some aides that were with them, but their job was not to work in the store. It was to help them with what they needed for their physical needs. And I learned so much in that store. I learned to love junk. I learned how to do displays, and I learned how to run a cash register and be a person who was up front in the store and talk to customers. And I was pretty shy, and so they really empowered me by giving me that opportunity and teaching me how to count back change. It just boosted my math skills and my confidence in that. And they just were very complimentary of me and my creativity. They were always big contributors to me trying new art things. So they were incredible people in my life who really sewed a lot into me, told me I was beautiful and talented and all the things I wasn't necessarily hearing anywhere else. And so I'm forever grateful for that time. In Grandma's Attic was the name of the consignment store in Sacramento. So what did you do for odd jobs or for work in the early 80s? I'm curious, and especially if you were a teenager. Or share with me what you did when you were a teenager in a different decade. Okay, let's find a page and see how we can make this fit. I think I had a blank one here, so let's go ahead and come back to this one and fill it in. I kind of like that the tofu loaf is poking out there because into the 70s, yeah, that might have been something my mom asked me to make. Okay, I'm going to cut this because I think her elbow's going to have to go. Oh no, I scratched her. Okay, Shirley. We're going to see how far we can scoot you over. Nice. Mark that there. Here. And here. So we have to trim her down a little bit on this side. And then we're also just, I'll probably just fussy cut. Maybe I'll tuck her arm behind the cook. But we can trim it off about here. My cousins were likely not only an influence in my love of crafting and vintage items and antiques, but they also probably were the biggest influence in my decision to go into my lifetime career, which is being a physical therapist, because I quickly learned what people before ADA was a thing went through trying to access their environment. And they were so kind and gentle about everything and really worked hard and were part of a movement for rights for people with physical disabilities and developmental disabilities in the 70s and 80s. And I admired them so much. I think I gotta cut some more off of here. It's always interesting because I'd never start with a plan. What am I cutting up on the back? Body Buddies cereal. I don't even remember ever hearing about Body Buddies cereal. Do you? I think this is going to work as my pocket. And then trim this down just a little. So while I'm finishing gluing this down, I wanted to take a minute to say thank you to my frequent flyers here in the memory keeping videos, and for people who have commented on my other videos sharing memories, because I just love that. You know, I like to share with people on my channel that I tell my story because I want it to be easier for you to tell your story, because all of our stories really matter. So I really appreciate when you answer the questions that I pose with just a little memory or something that comes to mind when you hear my question. And not only on my memory keeping videos, but on my other videos as well, because a lot of times things on Thrifty Thursdays are very memory invoking, right? So I wanted to say thank you to my top commenters on the memory keeping videos, which are Meg at Chasing Retro and Cara at Paper Confessions with Cara Mia, and then also Tammy at Texas Sweet Tea Treasures, Kathy at Grace Paper Studio, Christina at Christina's Shack, Pam Benny, and Dale at Not Too Shabby Chic, Dolores J. Rush, Grandma Allison, who comments on a lot of my videos and puts lovely emojis, so I always can spot her comments. And then the people who've taken some time to either participate by sharing a memory or participate in some little challenge I've done are Beatrice Reyes, Cindy Anderson, Claudia Lane, Melissa Salt, and then on other videos commenting Denise Garcia and Peg, and around Teresa Joy. I love all the comments. Thank you to everyone who has commented at least once. I cherish those comments so much. Maybe I'll put this on my journaling card. So another thing I wanted to share with you, if you like the memory keeping, is there is another collaboration going on soon. It's an 80s collab called the Back to School Retro DT standing for Dollar Tree Challenge. And it is hosted by Cara, Paper Confessions with Cara Mia, BB from BB's Closet Creations, and myself, Carol from Crinkle Path Journals. And we are going to be doing a Dollar Tree binder swap with our partners. And the theme is 1980 to 1990, and I'm so excited about this challenge because it is right up my love of all things 80s memory keeping. And I'm so appreciative. We have a dozen other participants, and I'm sharing now because videos don't come out until the end of September and the very beginning of October. But you want to check out these people, and I will list them in the description box below so that you can start following them now and getting to know them. And then you'll want to check out their collaboration video on September 30th and October 1st. It's Heather at Crafter's Alley by Heather C., Meg at Chasing Retro, Jovi at Creating with Jovi, Lene at Fashionably 50 Something and Beyond, Sharon at Cheap to Chic, Kathy at Kathy's Favorite Things, Christine, Kawaii Memo Love, Kimberly at Kim's Inspired Life, Alice at My Frugal Wonderland, Lori at PD Pie Designs, and your friend and mine, Angela the Traveling Crafter. Please keep an eye out for that on your calendar. Make sure you subscribe. It's going to be super fun to see all the different creative takes from our 80s memories. And a special thanks to Cara and BB for inviting me to co-host with them on this collaboration. So again, I can't thank you enough for coming along with me doing this memory keeping episode, for your sweet comments, for subscribing and watching again and again. I really appreciate it. And to even those of you who watch regularly and you don't comment, I still seriously appreciate those views. It warms my heart knowing you're out there. So have a fantastic day. Subscribe to some new YouTube channels, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.